Hi everyone, so season 23 is in full force. It has started almost 5 weeks ago now on the 2nd of April, and I have been doing a lot of pushes, a lot of different builds. I just wanted to share a bit of the highlights and my plans going forward. So I have been starting the season with my wizard here because of the Firebirds meta. That was very exciting. We've been doing group play with Rob, Norfar and Remind for the first 10 days or so of the season, maybe 2 weeks. Basically grinding all my paragons there. I was like 2.5k after around 10 days, and since then my paragons don't really move because I'm mostly gearing new classes and pushing solo, and you don't get any XP there. So in case you have seen my other video where I was talking a bit about my goals, I want to get every single leaderboard top 100 by the end of the season. So I'm trying to do some clears that will kind of last, which is rather hard to do at this point because my paragon is relatively low compared to the big blaster boys, which are like 4k, 5k plus paragons already. And since I mostly spend my time pushing, I don't really get anywhere anymore. But so far we have done wizard, everything rank 1, at least temporarily when I did those clears. That was especially early in the season when we were really far ahead of most people. So I was actually like, I think 5 out of 6 simultaneously rank 1. That was pretty cool. Right now I'm actually working on updating some of those old clears because yeah, they were really outdated at this point. So I'm working on Tarasha 128, which is currently I think 5 tiers above the next guy. I want to do some DMO stuff, some Typhon. And also the Firebirds. Before I was quite demotivated to do a big Firebirds push after this hotfix with the mirror images. You've probably seen that. And now they changed that back. So yeah, I'm probably going for something like 143, 144 here with like a really big push because I have a really nice, strong Firebirds wizard. Next was Monk and Crusader. So I was doing those kind of simultaneously. Crusader, I had rank 1 on pretty much everything besides the Aegis of Valor, and that was pretty cool. So I might update 2 of those clears, which is the Seeker of the Light and the Rolands especially, but the others are quite nice. I have like 136 on Valor, 136 on Akans. Especially the Valor push was interesting because I was using the Norvald setup with 14,000 strength, because this is an extremely squishy build and not really suited for my paragons here. I did actually have a few augments on those compared to most of my other pushers, so almost everything I do is unaugmented, so most of those builds are kind of squishy, especially something like this here, which basically requires 4k, 5k to really work properly and feel smooth, but I did it anyway and I was very happy with that clear, which was rank 2 at the time. On the Monk, I actually managed to finish rank 1 of all leaderboards at the same time, quite early in the season, like maybe 2 weeks in or so. So that was pretty cool. And since then I have fallen behind by quite a bit. There's like, you know, some fully augmented people on especially Patterns of Justice and Sunwoku, and almost every other leaderboard at this point actually. I mean, it's quite late in the season. It's very hard to compete with my paragons and no augments in most cases, but I'm still trying to get a rank 1 or at least rank 2 whenever I do a new clear, but we'll see how this will hold up from now on. But so far this has worked out on pretty much every single one of those. Unfortunately, some of my old Monk clears are lost on my old hard drive. I had a hard drive breakdown recently and I lost a little bit of footage there. Nothing too bad, and I will update some of those clears, so it's not the worst. We did some Demon Hunter action, so there's a lot of Hanging Arrow going on here, especially on Marauder and UE and, well, everything almost. Quite surprised to see so much, but these are beatable clears. I was going for Cluster Bombs, that was really cool, and I'll definitely beat this, I guess. Same with Unhurled Essence, there's also Hanging Arrow everywhere, but this is still achievable with multi-shot, so I'm going for that as well. Gears of Dreadlands is by the rank the worst clear I've had. I think this was a rank 11 when I did it, not a 1 or 2, but obviously this is a very popular build. It's a very gear dependent build, and I was competing against, you know, fully augmented guys with more paragons, and it's also one of the primary botting builds this season, so there's even more competition on DH here, but I was quite happy with that. And also my Shadow's Mantle clear, which was very fun because I used Conventional Elements instead of Elusive Ring. So that was pretty cool. Overall, very happy with my Demon Hunter performance so far, but I definitely want to update Marauder. I want to do a +1 or +2 for the Gears of Dreadlands, and also want to do 125 or so with multi-shot. That will be pretty amazing. Speaking of Demon Hunter, I also have my hardcore DH here, which I'm currently gearing up. So I'm playing with my fiancée, Nina V, and she's a big hardcore enthusiast, and we are blasting together here. I'm playing support DH most of the time, and I also want to do some nice pushes there. Mostly off-meta stuff, so I have planned to do some Shimizu Fan of Nice action with Natalia and with Lon, and maybe some Ball Lightning on UE, and then serious Impale and a serious Marauder push with cluster bombs, and maybe some Ball Lightning on UE. So it will be quite fun, I believe. Playing a bit of like different builds there, especially the Shimizu stuff is going to be very exciting, I believe, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And the most recent class I've been gearing for was the Witch Doctor. So I have just finished that last night with overall rank 2 on Mundunugu and the overall leaderboard. And I have done some pretty nice Zunimasa clear at 130, and otherwise there are some okay clears here. I had a rank 1 on Eric here and on Helltooth with Zombie Bears, and then the others were like rank 2. So that was pretty good, but there's also some big boys already blasting on Witch Doctor, so it's very hard to get a rank 1 there. And 2 classes are left, so this is Necro and Barb, and I will start gearing Necro next, so this will probably be within the next week or so, maybe 1.5 weeks. I want to do a really big Ravma push because it's one of the new builds, and I want to augment it and see what we can do with that when we play it properly, and then some other smaller pushes. I'm quite excited for some of those builds because I actually enjoy those. And there's also Barbarian, so this will be the last class of the season. I need to gear both those classes from scratch, so it will take a little bit. Usually it takes me around 10 to 20 hours of farming, depending on how lucky I am and how well I want to gear them. Sometimes I use a bit of bounty mats to fill in the gaps, and that works out pretty well. Overall, I can just say that I really enjoy the season, so going really hard on all those pushes, well, some of them at least, and some others are not really too exciting. For example, Rapid Fire, I didn't enjoy it all, or Arakir Firebats is also not so exciting. So these are builds that I don't really try too hard with, and I go like maybe 1 or 2 tiers below my potential. But overall, this is really cool to push so many builds. I just wish that this will be improved in the future by making augmenting pieces easier and faster, or maybe you can get some augments back from other pieces you have used already, so you can actually do proper pushes on all of those sets. Because some of them are extremely weak and squishy, especially when you don't have enough main stat or enough vitality. Some of those builds are straight up almost unplayable, even at my Paragon, when you don't have augments. So you really need a little bit of stats and good gear to actually be kind of competitive. I'm very excited to see what Blizzard has in store for all those especially weaker sets, what the buff is gonna be, and maybe some reworks for some of those sets that don't really serve much of a purpose right now. And I hope that also a lot of you guys are enjoying the focus that some of these off-meta sets get now a little bit. So let me know what you have been pushing, if you found some joy in some of the maybe forgotten builds, and maybe you have like some long lost favorites that you pushed really hard this season or something. I'm very excited to hear about that, and I will also probably keep playing more of those builds in the future when next seasons come. Probably not all of them at once. That was kind of like a season 23 special for me. But I will definitely probably choose a few different classes and then a few different leaderboards for each of those, because each of those classes has some really cool builds that I enjoy as well. The big highlight for me this season is definitely the Monk on LOD with the Shimizu Tempest Rush. This is also the big push that I want to do with full augments, and so far I've just done this meme clear here on 120. I'm aiming for like 135 or so 15 tiers higher than this. But I don't think this will be too much of an issue. Once I have good gear and some augments with my Paragon, this is definitely achievable. And well, it has Shimizu in it, so it must be good. So this is what I wanted to share here. Hope you enjoyed my little story time. Let me know about your progress, about how you like the season, how you push with different sets or something. I'm quite curious, and see you guys next time.